Good evening, folks. We're glad to have you out for our Wednesday evening service. Glad you made it through the rain and whatever else, thunder and lightning. I saw some earlier this evening. It was just an awesome display of God's power in the lightning. I just love to sit and watch those streaks go across the sky and just listen to the thunder. It's a great reminder of God's power. But a little dreary outside, but I hope it's not dreary in your heart. Let's stand together. Take your hymn books and turn to 352. I have a message from the Lord. Hallelujah. Look and live. 352. Let's sing it together. Standing for prayer.
Let's pray together. Father, tonight we praise your name for who you are. Lord, we praise you that you're a God of grace, a God of mercy, a God of power and holiness. You're a loving God who gave your Son to be the sacrifice for our sins so that we can live through him. So, Lord, help us tonight as we worship. Lord, let these truths just sink into our hearts. May your Spirit guide us tonight. Lord, stir our hearts as we sing, as we hear your word preached. Father, help us as we pray. May our worship tonight be acceptable to you and bring glory and honor to you. In Jesus' name, amen. You may be seated. We have several announcements that we'd like to share with everyone tonight. Of course, tomorrow night, we'll meet for visitation at 6:45 in the chapel. We continue to have a number of first-time visitors coming to Good News Baptist Church each Sunday. We're thankful for that. Praise the Lord for that. But that also means we have lots of follow-up visits to make. So if you can help us do that tomorrow night, that would be a blessing. And then on Saturday, we'll have our monthly food distribution at 10 o'clock a.m. We're very thankful for those who help with that ministry each month. And we encourage everyone, even if you're not here to help, encourage all of you to pray for that time as the gospel will be shared with those who are in attendance. Next, I have an announcement from Pastor Taylor. This is a reminder from parents, for parents, that the teens are going to Lake Gaston this Saturday. And if your teen is going, Pastor Taylor needs a release form signed by you, the parent, and he needs that tonight. If at all possible, please get those release forms, and he has some of them up in the teen room. If you don't have one yet, please get those to him tonight. Remember, the teens are leaving the church at 9 o'clock this Saturday, returning about 9 p.m., and they need some spending money for supper on the way home. Also, Pastor Taylor wanted me to remind everyone that if you're donating water bottles for the activities, the youth activities later this month, thank you for doing that. Those of you who have and those of you who plan to, you can give those water bottles directly to him, or you can stack them in the education wing where you see other water bottles already stacked near those exit ways. So thank you again for your help with that effort. Finally, on the back table, there's a sign-up sheet. If you'd like a free meeting with Bob Valier of Church Business Ministry, CBM, he'll be here this Friday, Saturday, and then Monday. And I see that there's still a couple slots open for Friday and Saturday. Monday looks wide open. But please avail yourself of that opportunity. Brother Valier can give advice on taxes, financial planning, estate planning. And so, again, please take advantage of that opportunity. He will also be with us this Sunday morning, preaching in our morning service. At this time, I'd like to invite the men who will be reading prayer letters for us to come forward. As we look ahead to our missions conference in October, just a few weeks away, we remember this year's missions theme, Light Out of Darkness. We have the banners behind me from 2 Corinthians 4 and verse 6. And we praise God for our many missionaries who are faithfully serving as lights in this dark world. And we're going to hear from two of them tonight. Caleb Cavanis and his young family. We'll hear a letter from him first, and then we'll follow that with a letter from Brother Crabtree and his family.
Dear parents and friends, the move. We have officially arrived at language school. After a month of praying, packing, and planning, we said our goodbyes and began the 3,200-mile journey from Oregon to Quebec. From COVID testing to customs, we saw God provide, protect, and guide our every step. Thank you so much for your prayers. The opportunity to begin our language learning in person and not virtually is a direct answer to months of fervent prayer. Praise the Lord. As a family, we are settling into our little apartment in Sherbrooke, Quebec. Micah is having so much fun exploring his new house. We have enjoyed exploring some of Sherbrooke and discovering new things. We have already started laughing at ourselves as we try to check out at grocery stores or order at a restaurant in French. A few words of French and a lot of pointing have worked so far. We are looking forward to the day we are able to have full conversations with the people around us. Our language school classes start full-time this week. Please pray for us as we will have a very intensive class schedule. As you may expect, we are both excited and nervous about the start of classes. We are praying that the Lord would help us to not simply pass a class, but truly learn the language that will be fundamental to our mission in Congo. Thank you for praying for our family and our ministry. We are honored to be your missionaries to the Republic of Congo. For his glory, the Cavanis family. Prayer requests that we would absorb the French language and begin developing relationships with French-speaking people here in Quebec. For grace as we adjust to a new country, culture, and language. And that we would have the ability and understanding to speak for Christ here in Sherbrooke. Let's pray. Father, we do thank you for Caleb and Kelsey Cavanis and little Micah, Lord, and remembering them here not too long ago. And Lord, the connection and impact they made on us here at the church was such a blessing. Lord, to see this young man on fire for you and Lord, was able to even preach here at the church, and then several, I remember, were saved under his preaching. Lord, what a blessing it was, and what a blessing it is as a church to be able to take him on for support, Lord. I thank you for a church where, Lord, missions is so important, Lord, and to fulfill the Great Commission, Lord. Thank you for this church and the heart that the people have here for missions around the world, Lord. And we look forward to what the next month, Lord, will bring, and, Lord, how the people will respond to that as well, Lord. We thank you for the Cavaness family. Thank you, Lord, that you've moved them along, Lord, speedily here in this last few months, Lord, and now heading to Quebec. Lord, I pray, Lord, that you would just continue to work, Lord, in their ministry. Lord, that you would continue to help them to learn this language quickly. They're asking for grace, Lord, and to adjust to this new country there and culture and the language, Lord. And we just pray that you would provide that, Lord, like we know you will. And, Lord, we just ask you, Lord, to help them as they are there in Sherbrooke. They want to be a witness for you there, even in Canada, Lord, before they go over to the Congo. And I just pray, Lord, that you would, Lord, open doors and, Lord, they'd be able to plant the gospel seed there in Quebec. And, Father, that as they get ready to go to Congo, Lord, that you would even prepare the hearts of the people there in the continent of Africa. Lord, I'm thankful for these missionaries who've answered the call to go. And, Lord, I just pray that your hand would be upon them. Lord, encourage them, provide for their needs. Lord, keep them on fire for you. And, Lord, we look forward to hearing back from them maybe here in a few months from now where they've made it there. So, Lord, just work your will and way in their lives, in their ministry, we pray. Keep your hand upon them. Meet their every need, we ask. In Jesus' name, amen.
This letter is from our missionaries, the Scott Crabtree family, missionaries to the deaf. They have a verse to begin with. There is no speech nor language where their voice is not heard. And I'll start reading. April and May have been quite the whirlwind around here. They ended with our daughter, Jocelyn, graduating from high school. Now that the dust has settled and everyone has gone back home, we can sit down and share with you how the Lord continues to bless. On April the 18th, we ended up celebrating our third church anniversary with special speaker Chris Harris and his family with an attendance of 97. The place was hopping with a full parking lot. We want to thank Pastor Mattis for sending Brother Hank Sparrow and a deaf group from West Virginia. Evangelist Lawrence Schindlenberg and his wife from the West Virginia, Hendra Clark from Daytona, or rather from Dayton, and Bob Frank and Ursula Rasmussen attended as well. We had other honored guests, including Evangelist Larry Clayton and his wife, along with Brother Pat and his wife, the man who owns Higher Power Electric, who took care of our electrical needs recently. It was such a blessing to see them both respond to our invite. It was like one big reunion. Pastor Mike Witt and a great team from New Life Independent Baptist Church in North Carolina came, along with Carol Vonok and BIMI Claim Ministry, to volunteer to replace our roof. God miraculously took care of the expense of the materials. We had to replace 70 sheets of plywood, which was not cheap. They worked so hard that one of the ladies in the group had holes in her shoes by the end of the week. Our people had a blast working with them, and we had to keep Elaine, our church mama, from flirting with one of the guys. Another one of our folks in his 80s worked hard during the week. We family told him to sit down and gave him a sign that said retirement seat. I think I need that too. It was all in good fun. It was great to see Christians working together who don't even speak the same language, but still enjoy each other's company. On one of the rainy days, we took several of them on a tour to the Amish country. We hated to see them go. The only disappointing part was that the night before they left, someone sawed off the catalytic converter right out from under their church van while it was sitting at the hotel parking lot. We continue to make updates to the building as the Lord provides. Thank you to those who have had a part in these efforts. We praise the Lord for the opportunities to travel recently. My wife was able to speak to a group of ladies at Troy Baptist Church in Troy, Ohio. We were also able to be with Bill, to Pastor Bill Raines and the people of Mission Baptist Church in Cincinnati, to thank them for their help in our building fund. And my wife and I enjoyed a break at a God Save America conference in Alamero, Texas, with Pastor Alan Copeland and Central Baptist Church. As a surprise to us, their church took us on for support. We enjoyed a great time of fellowship with the Hardings and other alumni from Oklahoma Baptist College. There is nothing like getting together and swapping old college stories. We ended the month of May by having a 96-year-old World War II veteran speak during our service on Memorial Day weekend. He is the father of one of our deaf men. We continue to see spiritual growth in the lives of our people. Please pray as we continue to sow the seed. If you happen to see that the supply of Kleenex tissues diminishing in August, it's because our daughter will be heading off to Bible college. This is rough on the dad. Let's pray. Gracious Heavenly Father, we just come before you tonight and we praise and thank you. Thank you for the opportunities you give us to come to church on Wednesday nights, and for the opportunities, Lord, for those, Lord, that will go out and be missionaries to reach the world for us. Thank you for Brother Crabtree and his family and their deaf ministry. We ask that you continue to work and bless in their hearts and their lives, dear Lord. Dear Lord, we also pray that you just continue to work as they go out and spread the seed of the gospel of Jesus Christ for you. Have your way in their hearts and lives. Provide for them, Lord, and continue to use them. And dear Lord, for us, for our missions conference coming up in less than 30 days, I pray that you just have your hand on our hearts and on our speaker's hearts and his lips. I pray that you'd bless and encourage. And we just thank you and praise your most holy name for what you did and what you're going to do for us. In Christ's name, amen.
Amen. Thank you, men. We welcome you tonight. We welcome those joining us in the live stream audience as well. I don't believe we have any guests in the auditorium tonight, but we have some folks that are back from traveling. Longs, it's good to see you back. I was almost late for the service, and you'll understand why. I ran into the new brown baby in the chapel, and I don't know, my world just stopped. I had to, well, you grandparents understand this, right, Browns? But she's precious, and it's good to see the family all back here tonight. Let me mention a couple announcements. This Sunday is the 20th anniversary of next week is the 20th anniversary, but we will be remembering that on Sunday morning. A very special service is planned, some video presentations, and I think God will use it to challenge us, encourage us. I do want to ask, if you're a first responder, I've been communicating with some of our first responders. If you're a first responder, I want to invite you to come in uniform Sunday morning. We are going to take time to remember the first responders who gave their lives that day. And our first responders, we're going to join together in helping with a salute to them. There'll be playing of taps. I'm going to come in uniform, but I think it would give honor to those who sacrificed everything that day 20 years ago. It's hard to believe it's been that long. Let me also mention to the deacons that after the service tonight, if we could have, and I think most of us are here, if we could have a very brief, ladies, yes, I mean that, very brief, meeting in the hospitality room. There's just a couple things I need to mention to you. Gordon Hosteller, could you join us there? And so we just want to bring you up to date on a couple business matters and appreciate your extra time, men. If you'll take your prayer sheets, we want to thank the Lord for visitors who attended the Hispanic Church on Sunday, and 2 and 1 regular attender. They had 3 saved in there this past Lord's Day. Praise the Lord. And then just the strong attendance each week in the new members class. We're averaging about 13 in there, and just thanking the Lord. These are couples that love the Lord, are doctrinally sound, and some individuals as well. And it has just been a blessing to interact with them. But pray for them as they discern the Lord's will regarding membership here. If you look down, let me give you these updates. Number 5, Dana Brown. Results of her test showed an infection in her lung. This is Denise's sister-in-law. Dr. Godfrey, Lee Godfrey, and don't mix him up with the former pastor over at Great Hope, John Godfrey, okay? But remember, he's recovering from COVID, and his wife, Brenda, recently went to be with the Lord. Tomorrow morning, Dickie Harvey, number 9, is having a PVC ablation. Number 12, Sean Houts is admitted to the hospital with COVID. This is one of Denise's relatives. Then number 15, Margaret Majewski, foot operation done today. This is Flo's sister. Number 16, Mei Lee, this 2-month-old recovering from surgery. What would you share that update with us, Longs?
She's doing well. She's home recovering, and they think that they were able to correct it before it caused damage.
Amen.
She's
All
well.
right, great news. Thank you for your prayers. Number 19, update on Leo Steinbauer. He is our World War II veteran in his upper 90s, passing kidney stones, bless his heart, bad reaction to an antibiotic that caused hallucination. So please remember him, and then Mark and Pam as they care for him. Number 22, Nadine Wassman's mom is doing better. I talked to Nadine this morning. She was just rejoicing. There's been a marked improvement in her condition. So continue to pray for her. Let me ask you to pray this way too. She, of course, is from Egypt. We're not sure if she knows the Lord or not. And tomorrow I'll be meeting with her, but here's how we'd like to ask you to pray. Our missionary, David Gates, has sent me an Arabic Bible. I will be giving that to Nadine and her mom tomorrow. And then David wants to FaceTime in and witness to her in Arabic. All right, so as we're at the hospital tomorrow, would you please pray that God would use that to get a hold of her heart? She's hard of hearing, but that she'll be able to hear with Nadine's help, and pray that this dear lady would come to Christ. All right, and so just pray that God brings all those details together. And then if you would write these requests down. First of all, from Josh Haynes. Josh and I spoke this morning, and it looks like his cancer has spread. And so he sent me this text to be specific with you about how to pray. He says, I will need 4 rounds of chemo, total of 16 weeks. My cancer came back fairly aggressive, so they want to go with aggressive treatment. I will lose my hair. Pray for grace, strength, and finances. I will have to do chemo every day for a week and will most likely be unable to work. Also pray for our baby to be healthy. And then he just mentions that Jeremiah 29:11-13 has really been a passage that God has used to strengthen him during this time. If you'll write down these requests, first of all, this is from Cecil Lee. This is one of his lawn care customers. Her name is Peggy Dowell, Dowell, an elderly lady who has fallen several times. Her balance is not stable, so pray for safety for this Peggy Dowell. And then also Cecil is asking us to pray for Dr. Earls for his health. They've had someone with COVID in that retirement facility, that home. The center is on lockdown, no visitors. He can't leave his room. So let's pray that he doesn't get COVID and that God will just stop the spread of that there. If I could ask you to pray for me as well. I am on call this week, and sometimes I even forget to mention that to you. But early this morning, I worked a suicide over on the other side of Chesapeake. We were there for several hours. A young family, a young son that it looks like took his life. And then a few hours later, I ended up working another situation over in South Norfolk where another 49-year-old lady went to her car, was being helped to her car because it looked like she had COVID and needed to get to the ER, and next to the vehicle, she died. And so was there, was up most of the night, and then this morning just trying to console these families. So I don't know what the rest of the week will bring, but it's already been busy. And again, just cover your prayers. Pray for all of our first responders. We had a Chesapeake officer who was shot last week, and it's just, it's a broken world out there. But praise God for those who are helping to maintain the peace and those who are called to take the peace of the gospel of Jesus Christ to those who are so needy. All right. Let's just have corporate prayer together tonight, shall we? It's been a while. There is nothing sweeter than God's people praying together. And so I hope that you've come prepared to pray. And remember, you're not praying to us. You're praying to the Father with your family. And so the one who is in heaven hears us. He's not judging your vocabulary. He's looking at your heart. And remember, as brothers and sisters pray, you be praying along with them. Let God work in your heart. If He prompts you to pray, pray. When He's done prompting, you're done praying. But let's take these petitions to the Lord tonight and have a meaningful season. There's no reason for delay. There is much to pray about. And so let's plead with the Father as His children. That's who we are. We're children. Okay? And so I'm going to ask Brother Gene Sayer if he will lead us out tonight. And then just as God leads you, as the conductor directs his orchestra, and we symphonize together, let's trust Him to work mightily as He continues to do. Brother Gene.
Join our hearts in prayer. Father, as we come to you tonight, Lord, we humbly bow our hearts and minds. Lord, we have a long list of needs, burdens, concerns, Lord, that we have in front of us, Lord, or that we have in our hearts and minds that may not be on this list. We're so thankful that you're a God that can minister to each and believe the greatest need on the list are those for salvation.
Yes.
Lord, I saw Charlie Rickenbacker's name, Lord, and,
Yeah.
still there and still need salvation. Others, Lord, we have family members and friends that need salvation. Lord, I know my own family in Ohio, there are some great needs there in that family and some of the family members, and I pray that you'll minister there to each and every one of us as we think now about family members and friends that need salvation. But Lord, you'll hear our prayers, and Lord, that you'll answer them and draw many to saving knowledge of Jesus Christ. Lord, I saw Brother Value's name on there as he travels in. The prayer request that he has is for safety. Lord, as he travels around the country in a ministry that very, very few have, Lord, I pray that you will keep him safe and give him wisdom as he imparts to even our people here, Lord, some financial wisdom. I know we have benefited personally from visiting with him, and I thank you for that. So, Lord, I pray that you will bless him and keep him safe and give us a good time while he's here. Lord, I do pray people will take advantage of this special thing. Father, I pray for our nation. Lord, as we're approaching 9/11, minds are reminded of that day, of the scenes that we saw on television. Not only that day, but days after, weeks after, Lord, and the first responders. Lord, I met one personally, and the stories he told were just unreal. Father, I pray that as we approach this 20th anniversary, that you'll keep our nation safe, give us wisdom and to head off attacks similar to that, like that. Lord, there's people out there that would just love to duplicate that, if they could. Father, I pray that you'll thwart their efforts, confuse and confound their minds as they plot against this nation. Father, I believe it was founded on Christian principles by Christians. Lord, we've drifted away from that anchorage, and I pray that, Father, as a nation, you'll return us to that. Lord, I think of our president, vice president, those in Congress, our state leaders, and local leaders. Father, if any are not saved, Lord, I do pray that you would draw them to Christ. I do pray. Father, I can't go to Congress and walk those halls. The Holy Spirit can be there, and he can speak to hearts, and he can convict them and convince them of their sins and wrongdoings and things, Lord, and to turn their hearts and minds in ways that they don't understand why. Lord, you can take care of that. So we commit our nation to you.
Yes.
Father, we beg you to draw us back to yourself. Let us be a nation that sends out missionaries. Lord, our numbers of confessed Christians is decreasing rapidly. And I pray, Father, that you'll turn us again, turn our hearts to you. Lord, we pray for these people on the list that we have tonight. There's quite a number of them. And Lord, I won't go through them again, but you know who they are and you know what the needs are. So we pray, Father, that you'll minister to them. Lord, we do pray for our pastor as he is on call and goes out and ministers to these needs. Lord, they're sensitive, they're consuming, they can emotionally wear on you, because if you can't go to a family that's just experienced a suicide and not be somehow emotionally involved, where you're concerned about it, you keep them in your prayers, you think about them. So Lord, I pray that you'll be with him, give him strength, give him wisdom. Lord, as he speaks forth the truth and love to these families in this time, Lord, you will use him to somehow point someone to Christ. That even out of a tragic situation, someone could become saved. Father, we just pray for our church and all the ministries that we have here. Lord, I thank you for the wonderful time we had at the nursing home ministry. And the man that just came up from Bob Schofield and asked us to pray for his wife. Lord, we thank you for that opportunity to be a representative of Good News Baptist Church and ministering in the community. Thank you for the food distribution that we do here, Lord, the people that come to that, and the blessing that it is to partake in that. Thank you for all those who help with that. Lord, they're the next generation.
Yes.
Oh, Lord, if you don't minister to them, or if we don't minister to them, shame on us. Father, we need to I thank you for the support that this church does for you. And I pray, Father, that you would just continue to bless them and cause us to be involved with them and support them in all that they're doing. Father, we just commit all these things to you. Come, Lord. Lord, we pray that you'll bless, meet our needs. Father, thank you so much for loving us so much that you sent your Son, the Lord Jesus Christ, to die for our sins. In his name I pray.
Father, I certainly join with my brother in praying about those who need Christ. Father, I think of this divine appointment that you have orchestrated for tomorrow for Nadine's mom.
Yes.
Lord, years ago brought David Gates across our path that we would learn of a missionary who could speak Arabic, who knew Christ. I pray for those folks. God, would you work out every technical detail tomorrow so that the Spirit might not be interfered with in any way, Lord, by those sorts of things, but that you would be even now preparing her heart in ways she doesn't recognize, preparing Nadine's heart in ways she doesn't recognize, and Lord, that you would allow them both to hear the truth clearly. God, I know that you desire for them to be saved. That's right. And so, Father, I pray that everything that's done between now and then by Pastor, by David, by others, Lord, all of it would be just by your design so that you might be able to accomplish that. Lord, we know you're going to do great things tomorrow because you're a great God. Yes. Lord, do the greatest of all things and redeem this land for yourself.
Please.
God, my heart is heavy for Josh and this news. Lord, you have brought so much rejoicing into their life recently with some healing in him and this new baby. God, I pray that you'd help his heart and mind to reflect on your greatness and the things that you have done so that he might have confidence in the things that you will do. Lord, we know what you have the power to accomplish and know that your ways are perfect. And so I pray that, Lord, if it's needful for him to endure all this chemo, that, Father, you would bring a great good because of it. That you would rid his body of this cancer in doing so, I pray. That you would open door of opportunity for witnessing, perhaps, to some medical staff who need to hear about Christ. Lord, that you'd strengthen his faith as a result of this. Lord, give him strength in the inner man as you already have from your words. Help us to be mindful of him and to look for ways to encourage him with your truth as well. Lord, we have such a privilege to do that for many who are on this list. I think of Brother Dickey, who's getting ready to go in for another heart procedure. Lord, would you calm his heart? Would you calm Mary Lynn's heart? Lord, would you show yourself mighty tomorrow in a way that you've chosen not to this point? Lord, the doctors don't understand many things. Lord, you understand everything. And so minister in their spiritual needs first. Lord, then would you minister in his body in a special way tomorrow? Cause this procedure to have success where others have not. And Lord, be restoring him, I pray. We know you can do it. Yes. Look forward to what you're going to accomplish tomorrow. I also think of Dr. Earls. Lord, how I pray you quickly cause these restrictions to pass.
Yes.
Lord, he wants fellowship. He desires fellowship. He longs for fellowship. Lord, I pray you help this fellowship with you to be sweet, but I pray you quickly open the door for others to be able to be a part of it. Protect his health right now. Although I know he'd be He'd be rejoicing, Lord, if you were to call him home. Lord, for now you indicated it's needful for him to be here. So allow him to minister where he is in a meaningful way, for him to see your hand at work in and through his life. And Lord, encourage him as only you can. Lord, work in that facility in a special way, I pray. Lord, I too pray for our pastor. Lord, I'm grateful he gets to minister to these families, but I am mindful that he spends even more time with these officers. And so, Lord, as he's alongside them, as they watch him, as they see him minister truth, grace, love to these folks, I pray that it would open doors of opportunities for him to do the same to these officers, to be able to encourage them, those that know you, that they be strengthened. Those who need to know you,
Yes, God.
they might be drawn towards you.
Yeah.
God, do something in that regard this week beyond anything else that might happen. Lord, would you save an officer this week?
Yes.
Because of some of these circumstances. And Lord, then for these who are hurting right now, the two that were mentioned, God, their greatest need likely is a spiritual one as well. Would you open doors of opportunity for fellowship, for a follow-up, if not by our pastor, perhaps by someone else. Lord, put in their hearts a longing to know you, to know your truth, to be free of the burden that they've carried with them all this time. And, Lord, we'll be careful to thank you for that and all that you're going to do in Jesus' name.
Heavenly Father, I'd like to thank you for our church tonight, coming together to pray for the needs on this list. Father, I see many names that have physical needs. Father, we know you're the great physician. We turn to you. When the doctors give the diagnosis that it's cancer, Father, we immediately turn to you. Father, you're the great physician who can cure cancer. I pray you'll just have that effect, Father. Do your work.
Yes.
For those who have these diseases. Father, we need help with people that have COVID. Even Dr. Earl's in the nursing home, Father, that's locked down. Even the mental anguish of being locked down again, Father. I pray you'll give comfort there and joy as he rejoices in his spirit because he knows you, Lord. We've got the word to comfort us, the comfort of the scriptures. Father, thank you so much for our salvation, for bringing us into your family through your grace. You reached down from heaven, opened our eyes, showed us where we were, that we were like lost sheep with no shepherd. You set our feet upon a solid rock. And Father, it's wonderful to have our eyes open, to be in your family, to be here tonight. Father, we pray for others that are in this world, in our country, just like sheep with no shepherd, as Pastor mentioned. Father, they're suffering with family members who committed suicide and hopelessness.
Yes.
The lack of comfort, Father, because of just anguish and not knowing you. Father, I pray, I noticed on our prayer list the funds for the new sign. For our church, Father, that new sign will be a beacon.
Yes.
People passing by,
Yes.
and we'll just tell them, turn here, turn in here. Lord, because we have the answer. We have your word.
Amen.
You saved us and helped us to reach these people. You said many will come from the east and the west and will sit down with Abraham and Isaac and Jacob in the kingdom of God, kingdom of heaven. Father, we want to see that. We want you to use us. We don't want our lives to be meaningless, but help us to be witnessing to our neighbors and friends. Father, I pray for our missionaries also. I think of Glenn and Cheryl LePage and Guernsey, Father, that are trying to reach back just like that maniac at Padero was sent back to his people. preach that verse, Lord. It's wonderful. Go home to your friends and tell them great things the Lord has done. Father, I pray to give him fruit for his ministry there. And I pray the Talls, those missionaries that want to come from England and help them, Father. I pray you'll help them with their health needs, with the COVID restrictions, whatever the barriers are, Father. I pray you break through all the barriers and solve that so they can come and encourage and help reinforce the ministry there in Guernsey. And also pray for Josh and Sarah Wagar.
Yes.
Chuk, Father, in the Pacific Islands. Throughout Micronesia, even the word has gotten to the president of the Federation of Micronesian Islands. Father, I pray he will take an interest in that case and that you'll work in your spirit, Father, to completely exonerate the Wagars and even increase their influence, Lord, in those islands, and that others that will be saved will go out to other islands that they don't have access to in other areas. There's so many islands in the Pacific Ocean, Father, that need the gospel. And Father, I just thank you for this prayer time tonight. In Jesus' name I pray.
Now, Father, meet us in your word. Thank you for answers to prayer. Thank you that you're a God hearing and answering God, that the effective, fervent prayer of righteous men and women, Lord, it avails much because we're indwelt by you, Lord. Now continue to work. Bless the children's ministries, the teens tonight, start a front line. And Lord, be with us here now. You're present, but Lord, help our hearts to be fertile ground for your truth. In Jesus' name, amen.
Take your hymn book and turn to 431. 431, one stanza of I Must Tell Jesus. Let's stand together as we sing. You may be seated.
2 Corinthians 4 in your Bibles. And as you're turning there, I just was reminded that Brenda Godfrey's funeral service is Saturday the 11th. This Saturday it's at Graham Funeral Home on Kempsville Road in Chesapeake. And we'll get that word out to everyone as well. Continue to, again, pray for that family. 2 Corinthians, hold your place there in chapter 4. Tonight we will continue in our study, Measuring the Pilgrim's Progress. Tonight we'll continue our journey through the eyes of the 17th century preacher John Bunyan. We find Pilgrim in the house of Interpreter, where he entered a dusty parlor. You remember that? And Interpreter asked one of his servants there to begin to sweep. Dust filled that room. Pilgrim began to choke until a woman began to sprinkle the floor with water so that the room could be cleaned. And we are reminded that the dust is like sin when it is stirred up by God's law. The law can't cleanse at all, right? It just reveals the dirt. and many have choked on the law. And because how do I get deliverance when it's up to me to keep rules, or at least that's what my religion tells me to do? I'm so thankful that the Spirit of God, using the gospel, can settle a heart and then cleanse a heart from sin. Really allowing, as happened with Pilgrim, allowing a soul to breathe clearly again. Now Interpreter took Pilgrim by the hand and led him into a little room where sat two little children, each upon his chair. The name of the eldest was Passion, and the name of the other, Patience. Passion and Patience. Passion seemed to be much discontented, but Patience was very quiet. Then Pilgrim asked, "What is the reason for the discontent of Passion?" Interpreter answered, "The governor of them would have him wait for his best things that are coming next year, but Patience is willing to wait." Have you ever seen a discontented child, passionate to get his own way or her own way? Well, that's the imagery that Bunyan puts before us. Two boys in a room. Both have been promised. Good is coming. One, Passion, wants it now. In fact, yesterday would have been fine too. But Patience is content to wait. Then I saw that someone came to Passion and brought him a bag of treasure and poured it out at his feet. Makes us smile, doesn't it? Some think that the best child is a quiet child, and so just give them what they want. They don't stay quiet very long, do they? So Passion took it up and rejoiced therein, as he also taunted Patience with scorn. "Look what I have." But after a while, Passion spent and squandered the treasure and was left with nothing but his rags. Then said Pilgrim to Interpreter, "Expound this matter more fully to me." So he said, "These two lads are representative of human souls. Passion represents the men of this world, and Patience the men of the world to come. For as you have seen, Passion will have all right now in this world, so are the men of this world. They, as James said, devour to have. They're not satisfied. They must have all their good things now and cannot wait for the next world. As you saw, Passion quickly spent it all and was left with only rags, so will it be for all such men at the end of the world." Now let's pause and just think about the spiritual truth that's being presented. Remember the temptation of our Savior by Satan in Luke 4. Satan propositioned him to bypass suffering and humiliation. Satan knew why he was here. He wanted him to bypass all that and to have his reward right now. Took him to one of the pinnacles of the temple and said, "If you'll worship me, I'll give all this to you." Took him to a high mountain and said, "If you'll worship me, I'll give all this to you. Please yourself now. Satisfy yourself now." Satan offers false satisfaction without the travail of soul, the hardship of service. The songwriter had it right. "I will tell the saints and angels as I lay my burdens down, Jesus led me all the way." Someone else has said there are no crown wearers who weren't first cross bearers here. So true. That's the Christian life. Wouldn't it be great if something else was true, that we could have all the pleasure now, and it wouldn't affect us, hurt us. But that's not the way it is. And the Scripture is clear in presenting the fact that the now generation is willing to sacrifice the eternal on the altar of the immediate, as Dr. Bob Jones Sr. used to say. And so that's passion. And when you feel yourself passionate to acquire more stuff, watch out. Watch. That's not why we are here. Then said Pilgrim, now I see that patience has the best wisdom because he waits for the best things and will have the benefits when the other has nothing but rags. Said Interpreter, and you may add something else. His glory and benefits in the next world will never wear out. Patience will have the laugh at passion because patience had his best things last. Therefore, it was said by Abraham to the rich man in hell, in thy lifetime you received thy good things, and likewise Lazarus evil things. But now he is comforted, and thou art tormented. Luke 16:25. Now again, let's consider some application here for us. Let me ask you a question. Abraham speaking to the rich man. Have you ever thought about the fact when Abraham was here, he was a rich man too? He had so much stuff that he and his nephew, their stuff couldn't all be in the same place. And so they needed to divide their stuff. And yet as we look at Abraham, he believed God. He took God at His word, and it was counted unto him for righteousness. When they needed to separate, Abraham wasn't looking for what was best. He was looking to God. And so, Lot, whatever you take, I'll take the other. He had wealth, but he hadn't set his heart on wealth. And so we need to set our affections on things above. What's another word for affections? Passion. We need to set our passions on things above and not on the things on the earth. You're in 2 Corinthians chapter 4. Would you look down at verse 17? For our light affliction, which is but for a moment, worketh for us a far more exceeding and eternal weight of glory. While we look not at the things which are seen, but at the things which are not seen. For the things that are seen are temporal, and the things that are not seen are eternal. And so we need to patiently endure. If someone could give you a spiritual name, what would it be? Patience or passion? There are people driven to have more, to live it up. Get all you can all you get. But God says, set your affections on things above. Then I perceived it not best to covet things that are now, said Pilgrim, but to wait for things to come. To speak the truth, said Interpreter, for the things, or you speak the truth, for the things that are seen are temporal, but the things that are not seen are eternal. But though this be so, remember that present things and our fleshly appetite are close neighbors, and the one can quickly spoil the other. Is it a sin to have possessions? I hope not, because God gives them to us. Every good and perfect thing cometh down from the Father of lights. All right, every blessing I have is from Him. Consider again the story of the prodigal in Luke 15. Before the prodigal left home, did he live in a wealthy home? Yes or no? Sure he did. When he comes back, when he gets right and comes back, they slay the fatted calf. He's given a golden ring. All those things tell us he's from a wealthy home. Did he use well-earned gain for carnal wicked pursuits? Yes or no? He sure did. All that is father had labored diligently for, and then gave to his demanding, spoiled son. The son went out and he wasted it in riotous living. The party, wicked, live-it-up lifestyle. So he is evidence to us that present things can easily spoil and detract from eternal things. God does not give us good things to richly enjoy so that they can distract us from Him. In fact, His goodness is intended for us to be drawn to Him and to give Him greater glory. Then I saw in my dream that the interpreter took Christian by the hand and led him into a place where was a fire burning against a wall. Saw some footage just recently where there was a stone wall and there was fire burning. Some things had been set on fire at the base of that wall. And it made me think of this. So Pilgrim looks at this, the base of this wall is on fire. The one standing by it was casting much water upon it to quench it. There's a fire. He's trying to put the fire out. Yet the fire burned higher and hotter. Then said Pilgrim, "Well, what does this mean?" Interpreter answered, "This fire is the work of grace that is wrought in the heart. He that casts water upon it to extinguish it and put it out is the devil. But you see that the fire, notwithstanding, burns higher and brighter. Here is the reason." Then interpreter took Pilgrim by the arm, and they walked around to the other side, the back side of the wall, and there they saw a man with a vessel of oil in his hand, and he was continually pouring that oil. Now, obviously, it was seeping in underneath, so as the man on the other side was trying to put out the fire, it just continued to flare up. Then Pilgrim asked, "What does this mean?" Again, interpreter answered, "This is Christ," the man on the other side of the wall, "who continually with the oil of grace maintains the work He has already begun in the heart. No matter what the devil does, the souls of God's people prove gracious still. And that you saw a man standing behind the wall to maintain the fire, this is to teach you that it is hard for the tempted to see how the work of grace is maintained in the soul." Once again, so much wonderful imagery here. Do you ever struggle with temptation? We all do, right? Do you ever feel like the fire of God that is burning in your heart since you received the Holy Spirit of God, do you ever feel like that's being quenched? That sometimes you just feel like spiritually there's not much there. You ever feel that? That's what a Bunyan is addressing here. In fact, he's addressing a greater problem. The picture is explained by an issue of controversy that existed in the Christian community during Bunyan's time. Bunyan and some of the other faithful preachers declared against this. But here was what was happening in Bunyan's time. The question was, can a true believer in Christ forfeit his salvation and fall from grace? Can someone lose their salvation? No, but they were teaching that in Bunyan's time. Are there any churches today claim to believe the gospel like we do that say that at a certain point you can fall from grace and lose your salvation? Yeah. The Nazarenes struggle with that. Certain Baptists struggle with that. I've never understood free will Baptists. It doesn't seem to go together if you can lose your salvation. Not all of them believe that, some do. But Bunyan in his day was having to deal with this. So here's what Bunyan was accurately teaching. As salvation, a work of grace is begun in the heart that cannot be quenched. It can't. Why? The unseen Christ continues to pour abundant grace on the lives of His saints, even where sin abounds. Sometimes that grace is the grace of chastening. Who the Lord loves, He rebukes, and He chastens. Don't answer this out loud, or please don't raise your hand, but have you ever gotten a spiritual spanking from the Father? Okay, so I'll confess to you, I've gotten those spankings. And the Lord has great accuracy. He can swing from heaven and hit the target every time. But He knows just how much I need to get back where I can begin to experience the grace of the Christian life. And so what Bunyan was referring to is found in Philippians 1:6, being confident of this very thing, that He which hath begun a good work in you will, say the rest of the verse with me, perform it until the day of Jesus Christ. Does He ever quit on us? Does He ever give up? Can you ever wander outside of His reach? Never. So where Satan is pouring in the water, God is fueling the flame. Now, the honest truth is God wants that flame to just consume us, and so we need to stay away from Satan and sin, because it will, and think about the wording here, it will quench what the Spirit is doing in your life. So yield to the Spirit, don't fulfill the lust of the flesh, and let God just continue to grow the fire in your soul through grace. He said, I saw also interpreter now, taking Pilgrim by the hand and leading him from his house and into a pleasant place, where there was a stately palace, beautiful to behold. It delighted Pilgrim, for he saw upon its walls certain persons walking, who were clothed in white linen and gold. Then said Pilgrim, may I go in there? But interpreter took him and led him up towards the door of the place. And behold, at the door stood a great company of men desiring to get in, but they could not. For there sat a man before the door at a table, while a book and his inkwell, with a book and his inkwell before him, he took down the names of those who would enter. There were also men in armor with weapons who guarded the door, desiring to hurt anyone who would enter. Now was Pilgrim amazed. At last, when every man had been turned away, Pilgrim saw a tall man with stout countenance approach the table and demand, write down my name, sir. When this was done, the tall man drew his sword and rushed towards the armed men at the gate. Now, let me just pause and remind us, remember that John Bunyan was a soldier in Cromwell's army. So all this about armor and weapons and walled cities, Bunyan lived it. Okay? And so that's what the imagery that he's drawing from his very day. So the tall man drew his sword, runs to the gate. Although he received many wounds, with deadly force, he cut his way through all of those men and pressed forward into the palace. Pilgrim heard a pleasant voice from within, join those on the walls who were calling, come in, eternal glory, thou shalt win. So he entered and was clothed with garments such as the others had. Then Pilgrim smiled and said to interpreter, truly, I think I know the meaning of this. Let me go in also. Interpreter replied, no, stay with me a little longer until I have showed you a little more, and after that ye will go on the way. It's interesting and a bit puzzling that he ends that here. And you're going to have to come back next time to see what happens next with Pilgrim. All right? But what is the imagery around this palace? Let's look at that, and then we'll be done. Pilgrim had just witnessed the gracious work of Christ keeping the flame going despite the continued efforts of the devil. Now, he is shown the other side of the Christian life. I'm so thankful that God preserves His own. When we're put in His hand, no man is able to pluck us out of our Father's hand. Okay? Grace. And yet, we're going to see this later, when Pilgrim becomes Christian, now the fight starts. Many want to enter the kingdom without denying themselves. There are going to be some people that are surprised someday that they're not in heaven. Because, yes, they wanted heaven, but they didn't want to give up their sin. They didn't want to face the struggle, the battle that's involved. God's grace is free, but we must be willing to put to death the deeds of the flesh through that grace. Romans 8 and verse 13. We must be living sacrifices, Romans 12:1, who work out our own salvation with fear and trembling, Philippians 2:12. Please don't think I'm saying we work our way to heaven. We don't. It is all the work of Christ. But here's the point. When we come to Christ, we give Him our life. And I have witnessed to people, I've heard them pray prayers, but this is why the longer I try to witness to people, the more convinced I am repentance has to precede redemption. It just does. And so the Lord talks about those who want to get into the sheepfold, and they're thieves and robbers, and they're trying to figure out another way to do it. And these men that would approach this gate to this city didn't want the fight. They didn't want the hassle. They didn't want to have to sacrifice. If any man will come unto me, Jesus said, you have to what? Deny yourself. It shouldn't be lost on us that the disciples, when Jesus said, follow me, they left how much? Everything. They walked away. Consider Matthew 11 and verse 12. From the days of John the Baptist until now, Jesus said, the kingdom of heaven suffers violence. That word suffers in the original is in the passive voice, which means those who would enter suffer violence and mistreatment. Okay, and by the way, since the days of John the Baptist, did he suffer any violence and mistreatment? Oh, yeah. Since the time of John. And then it goes on to say in Matthew 11, and the violent take it by force. In other words, they press to enter in by force. I love the handle that John Bunyan had on truth. That's the whole point. This man goes to the table. He says, put my name in that book, sir. Draws his sword, and he runs for the gate. All right? And it's not meant to teach self-effort, but to help us understand that getting in the kingdom, it's not easy street. Narrow is the way that leads to life everlasting. Few there be that find it. It is tight. It is narrow. Perhaps this example will help, and then we'll close. Do you remember the story of Stephen? When he's brought in front of the Jewish leaders and he preaches a message. And the Holy Spirit sends deep conviction to the hearts of those that are listening, including a guy by the name of Saul of Tarsus. He's there too. He heard the preaching. Conviction's a funny thing. Some people get right, some people get mad. Some get really mad. And this particular day, the Holy Spirit convicting in the hearts, they drag Stephen out of the city. And they stone him to death. Now, would you agree with me that that's violence? Okay? Some enter violently. But just remember that there was, in Stephen's preaching, there was also a loving but stern, what's the word escapes me, confrontation. He confronted them. Did Peter confront that crowd at Pentecost? You slew the Savior. That's pretty direct. You're guilty. And so as they're raining stones down to crush the life out of Stephen, Stephen looks up and he sees the Lord, and the Lord is there to encourage him. And as his life is being snuffed out, you sense that there is this great spiritual battle, and Stephen wins. Did you hear me? Stephen wins. He got his promotion into the city. It was bloody. And God then would use that to get to the heart of Saul of Tarsus, and it's not going to be long as Paul is going to be saved. But don't miss this, when he's in Damascus, and now he believes on Christ. Do you remember how they had to get him out of Damascus? Somebody help me. They had to let him down in a basket so he could escape at night. Why? Because more violence. He's our hero, and now we're going to kill him. He's turned on us. That's what the Scripture is trying to help us see, and that's what Bunyan is portraying to us through what Pilgrim is seeing. Bunyan wrote a hymn, "He who would valiant be." And he talks in that hymn about Pilgrim. He talks about the fact that it's a fight. And so I leave you with this tonight, brethren. Think it not strange concerning the fiery trial. Don't think it's strange. You know, Lord, is this really what the Christian life is about? Just take a look. He's always there with us. He is our captain and our defender. His grace is always sufficient. But this isn't home, and you're in enemy territory. And just remember that as you continue along the narrow way. Let's stand together. Father, thank you for your truth tonight. Help us not to grow weary in well-doing. Thank you for the rest that you reminded us of Sunday on Sunday night there in Hebrews. That even as we labor, even as we struggle and face the headwinds of opposition, yet, Lord, we can sweetly rest in Thee. Thank you for your protection. Thank you for your grace. Now, Lord, help us to go forth in your strength. In Jesus' name, amen.